to One Girl in All the World, a Buffy the Vampire Slayer rewatch podcast where we recap each episode in order and discuss. I'm Ashley, Buffy super fan.
Kimmy, Buffy newbie.
You can find us on all major podcast apps, YouTube, and Instagram with new episodes on Tuesdays. Okay, life is lifing, so hopefully we bring the energy today, because it's one of those days for me. It's felt like it's been going on forever. Get it? Because the episode is forever.
Oh, nice. Yes.
There you go. There
right.
we go. We got there in the end. All right. Yes. So forever, which is, a lot of still what's the word I'm looking for? Not backlash, not repercussions, but the still like Joyce's death. We're still dealing with Joyce's death.
We're still dealing with that. Yeah. After effect, aftermath.
Aftermath. Thank you. Aftermath of Joyce's death. So you said it wasn't your favorite episode. You texted me.
No, I gave it a relatively low rating.
I think it's a good episode.
For this season.
I think it's a good episode, actually.
Okay, I mean,
we'll see.
We're going to have our
discuss
different
it.
opinions.
You can be wrong, and I can be right, and we can agree about that.
Here's me thinking we can agree to disagree, and you're just like, you're wrong.
We can.
Damn.
We can. Okay. Forever originally aired April 17th, 2001, written and directed by Marty Noxon, who I love. And the synopsis is, a grieving and confused Buffy falls into the loving arms of Angel, who comes back to... Okay, this is one scene.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah, for like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Jeez, guys.
Angel, who comes back to Sunnydale after he gets word about the death of her mother. Meanwhile, distraught Dawn takes it upon herself to perform a magic spell to bring her mom back to life. Okay, I don't know, that first sentence wasn't even needed.
I'm glad I didn't read that, because that was so many spoilers in there.
It was, yeah. And if you were like a Rilla Bangle fan and you read this, you'd be so excited, and it's not that much to get excited about. But
no, he's there for a hot second.
Okay, so we start the episode at a funeral home, and it's just Buffy walking through like a dark
coffin shopping. Coffin shopping's not fun. It's terrible.
And then they turn the lights on, and Dawn, the funeral director, Dawn, Giles are there, and they're picking out a coffin for Joyce. Buffy picks one, and she's kind of just like, okay, decisions. Yes, this one's good. Okay.
Make something. No, yeah, I mean, she's going about it the right way.
But Dawn's like, well, how do we know Mom would have liked this? Like, she's struggling with it more as far as like making decisions.
Yeah, I think she wants to be involved, first of all, because she kind of, I think in this scene specifically, she's not feeling very involved. And she's like, well, like, my opinion matters too. I don't think it was actually, it wasn't really about what, we learned this at the end of the episode. I feel like it wasn't really what about Joyce would want, but like communication and feeling involved.
She brought her along.
Yeah.
But I think, Buffy, I think, is trying to like protect her from this, but sometimes this is part of it. Part of the process, and Buffy's trying to like, oh, you shouldn't have come. We probably shouldn't have brought you. And she's like, no, I want to be here. So so Buffy makes the decision, because the guy is like, do you guys want more time to talk about it? She's like, no, this is the one. So Buffy is like trying to take control. She's trying to be the adult in what way she thinks she should be the adult. Mm-hmm. So she makes a decision. So at Buffy's, the whole gang is there, and they're eating, by also like making plans for the funeral. The funeral is the next day, and they don't even have the program. They don't have the flowers delivered, ordered. They don't have the programs printed or nothing, but the funeral is apparently the next day. Okay. Yeah. So they're talking about how they're not going to have a wake or anything. They're not going to have anything after the burial. And because...
How are they going to word it?
How are they going to word that that's not going to happen? Because... Buffy and Joyce had a conversation before she went in for her surgery that was not on camera, that we did not see, that she talked about in case something happened, what she wanted. So Buffy knows what she wants. She thinks they're depressing, and so she didn't want one for herself. So they're just trying to like work at all these logistics. Giles is helping, field phone calls and stuff. And we find out, like, Buffy says, like, can you answer that for us, like, from Giles? And he's like, but unless it's my dad, because we haven't heard from him yet. So they have not heard from your dad.
Yeah, that's rough.
She says that the number that they gave them in Mexico, that he gave them when he's in Mexico, is no good. So
not working, yeah.
She's left messages, and they have not heard from
Father of the Year goes to...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, they haven't heard from their dad, and their mom has passed away.
Yeah, he sucks.
Dawn wants to know what's going to happen after the burial. Like, what do? Are they just going to come back here? It's like, yeah, after that's, like, done. It is, like, it's like, that's a weird time.
Yeah.
In a death.
It's very,
like, after all the planning's done.
It's final. This is the final thing. Like, after that's it, then you really have to sit with your grief.
Yeah. And it's like, there's nothing to distract you as much anymore. And Buffy's kind of distracted, like, that Dawn, it's not Buffy's fault. She's, like, trying to grapple with everything, but Dawn's not getting what she needs from Buffy, because she is not like her mom, unfortunately. And Buffy's distracted. So Dawn says I don't think she likes the idea of just coming home and being in the house. So she asks Buffy if she can go to Willow's and, like, spend the night after the burial. And Buffy says, yeah, that's fine. So outside, Willow and Xander are leaving, and they're talking about, Willow's talking about how she's stopping at her mom's more lately because, her friend lost her mom, so she wants to.
Of course.
And I like Xander's like, I'm thinking about stopping at your mom's too. Not my house. Those people are crazy.
Yes.
And then they run into Spike, who's coming up the walkway
with flowers?
With flowers, like a little wildflower bouquet. Yeah. And of course, Xander's like, no. Like, if you're coming here trying to, like, get in good with Buffy because you're bringing these flowers, like, not going to happen. Yeah. And he's like, this isn't about Buffy. I liked Joyce as a person.
Yeah, and actually, the way he explained it, I was like, okay. Because, Joyce actually was nice to him. She did make him feel not like a monster. They were kind of cute together.
Yeah. So, like, she gave him hot chocolate and talked about his women problems with Drusilla. They just, they were talking about the gallery. So, like, they had, like, a little bit of a friendship. And he said, she was the only one he could stand. Didn't treat him like a freak.
Yep.
And she was a nice lady, and that's why he's here. He's not here to, like, win points with Buffy. And of course, Xander is, like, very, like, get out of here. And
he just blows everything really out of proportion.
Yeah. And so Spike just, like, throws the flowers down and leaves.
And then Willow picks them up, and she's like, there's no card.
Yeah. He was just going to leave them.
Yep. He wasn't going to knock. He wasn't going to, like, make a scene or a point or anything. He was just going to do this nice thing to, like, let them know somebody was thinking about them.
Yeah. And
just a gesture.
Yeah, it was just a gesture. And there's a lot of, like, Spike in this episode being like, doing things for his mind are the right reasons. Anyway, but those flowers are part of my Buffy tattoo.
Oh, this is what we were
So there's
about.
the daisy in it. There's some other flowers I'll point out later in the show or later in the season. But there's, like, the goldenrods and, like, the daisy is, like, inspired by this because I like wildflowers too. So this was inspired partially by this bouquet of flowers that Spike brings.
Nice.
So there's a day of the funeral, and Buffy and Dawn are just sitting in their rooms. Like, they're already ready. They're ready for the funeral, but they're just, like, sitting there waiting for it to start. And if you ever, like, rewatch this, but if you notice, like, when they're panning past Buffy, if you look up, you can see at the top of the set. You can, like, see through the top of her room.
Not notice that.
Set, and they're just sitting there in their rooms ready to go to the funeral. So then we go to the funeral, we have a little montage of them going through the motions. And
I thought this was interesting that Dawn was wearing black and Buffy was wearing brown. Do we have any insights into this?
I mean, the black thing is, like, typical, obviously.
Yeah, I know. But just how Buffy was wearing brown, like, light brown. Not even dark brown, but very light brown.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, anyway, something I noticed.
Yeah, I did notice that too, yeah. So people they're like, the whole gang's there, and they're hugging her and everything, and eventually people start peeling off to leave. Yep. And everyone leaves. Tara comes over and says, okay, we're going to take Dawn because she's ready to go. And Buffy's going to stay there. She wants to stay there. So everyone leaves her, and Buffy stays. So the funeral was at 3. Let's say it ended at 4. She stays there all the way until it gets dark. Yep. She's just standing there looking at her mom's grave. And then Angel arrives. And he says, sorry, he couldn't come sooner. And then we go...
That whole daylight thing.
The whole pesky sunlight. So at Willow's, Tara and Willow don't really know what to do for Dawn. They're trying. They're like, how about we, want to do this? We can do that. Trying to distract her. They don't really know what to do. Or we could just go to sleep. But Dawn wants to do a spell. She brings this up that she's like, oh, I want to learn some magic. And Willow's like, okay, we can make a teddy bear float.
Or glamour. Or like, what is it? Glamour, she said?
Yeah, she says glamour. But she wants to do something big. She wants to do a spell to bring Joyce back.
Yeah, this sounds like a terrible idea.
And they're like, oh, what?
Yeah.
But then we go to Xander's, where Xander and Anya are doing it. And
I wrote Bone. And how they talk about how much more intense it is after someone dies.
Yeah, because they're thinking about life.
Appreciate things more.
They're thinking about life, and Anya kind of accepts or understands or likes the concept of like the circle of life. Where when people will be born, people die, and they could like have a kid from like having sex, and of course this scares Xander, but she's like, don't worry, like I mean we could. It helps me deal with the grief that life could start again. So she's coming to terms with all these like human things that we barely can come to terms with ourselves.
And then it's just like it makes them part of something bigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's helping her with her grief. So back at Willow's, now that Dawn has dropped this bomb, mostly I put Tara and Willow like try to talk her out of it, but mostly it's Tara.
It's Tara. I mean, yes.
I mean, Willow's not supporting her.
Willow's very but she's so wishy-washy. I understand that she just wants to take away her pain or not have her be in pain or in grief, but like, no, she kind of bothered me in this episode. Maybe this was part of the reason why I didn't like this episode.
Okay. Yeah, Tara, I think I take her way more seriously as a Wicca. And she's very firm with Dawn.
Yeah, and she should be. Everybody should be.
Yeah, that it's wrong. It's dangerous. Like Wiccas took oath not to mess with the natural order, like with life and death.
You can't alter the fabric of life for selfish reasons, which this would be.
Yeah, and Willow says even people that have tried it, it can backfire. It can go really wrong. And so Willow's like, Dawn's like, okay, since they made an oath, that means they probably could do it, but they're saying they won't do it. So that gives her a little bit like, okay, I caught on what you were saying there.
But also she's realizing that they can help them. They can help her and they won't. Yeah.
And she's mad.
Yeah.
She's mad at them and it just goes to sleep.
Which is dumb. Sorry, but that scene bothered me a lot.
Tara was really good in this. Tara's been really good in the body. She was really good. And in this one, she's really good.
She was. Yeah. She has this way about her where she is confident about what she's saying. Because before, we've actually really seen her come into her confidence more this season, which I liked. So she's talking more confidently and also just like, no, I feel like she used to be more wishy-washy and now she's like, no, like we can't do this. This is not okay.
When she's in her element, I think she is very confident. Like she could speak confidently in a way to Buffy about losing her mom because Tara went through that. She can talk confidently about Dawn about magic because Tara's been practicing for a long time and she takes it very seriously. So when she's in her element, she can talk confidently about things.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think we've seen her, unfortunately, some of it's bad, some of it's good, but we've seen her do it the last couple episodes. Yeah. So at the graveyard, Buffy and Xander. Buffy and Angel are talking, and Buffy's just talking about how she's just kind of going through the whole story with him and how she like wants to be strong. She needs to be strong. She's really, if it was just her, it'd be different, but she has to take care of Dawn.
Yeah.
And that they said, she's having all these like regrets about not getting home 10 minutes earlier. And that probably it wouldn't have helped.
It wouldn't have mattered. No.
Probably is like in flashing neon lights for her.
I know, which is like, I wish they wouldn't have used that word because like aneurysms, I don't think there is anything you can do unless you're like already in a hospital. Maybe. I don't even know if you can do anything then.
I don't know, but she holds on to that probably, which was a hope that if she had gotten there earlier, she may have been able to save her mom. But of course, Angel says it's not your fault.
No, but one of the things I did kind of take away from this scene is like, he's kind of like, you just need more time. Like, it's going to be okay. And like, I felt that was kind of, I don't know what the word I want is, but like, he's just like, he was supportive and empathetic and kind, and he was there for her. But at the same time, he was just kind of like, I've been through this a million times. Like, I've already done all this. And like, this is your first real death and you'll be fine. That's how I kind of,
Yeah, I didn't have like, I think he said what I expected. And
for what he is to her, yes.
Yeah.
I guess I'm still holding on to Bangle a little too hard. I wanted a little more empathy and support.
Okay.
I wanted more kid gloves and less adult gloves. She needs a few more days before we push the you just need time stuff. Anyway.
Right. Okay. That's fair. And he's like, I can stay in town as long as you want. I don't know what tomorrow's going to look like. Because that's the thing. That's the thing. Tomorrow. Like when life resumes. People go back to work. And, after that, it's like, what do you do? And he's
also, they can't hang out during daylight, so...
Yeah, he's like, I'll just be at my old mansion, I guess, during the day. I don't know. But she's like, I don't think that's a good idea. Yeah. And she's like, I'm really needy right now. And then they kiss. And she's like, you need to leave. Because
I like that, though. That was great.
I thought you were done with them, Kimmy.
I mean, in the immortal words of Katy Perry, it's never really over.
So, I know he never was like, where's Riley?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so they kiss, and she's like, okay, this is not good. Like, this isn't good. I
do admire her for having the wherewithal to be able to do that, because being in a grief-stricken stage like that and having an ex kiss you, oh my God, that must have been really hard.
She's so very self-aware about her emotional vulnerability right now.
Yes.
And he kind of apologized, and she's like, no, I really appreciate you coming. Like, it really means a lot that he came down, like, air quotes, for the funeral. And she just is so glad that so they sit there all night talking. So it gets her through the first night without her mom. After the funeral. Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah.
I did like this scene, actually.
So I put hospital ? I don't know where we
hospital.
are.
I'm pretty sure it's a hospital.
We're outside the hospital, I'm guessing. So Ben is walking, and what's his name? Jinx.
Minion.
Jinx, yeah. Okay. We find out later.
The Minion.
Jinx. I can never tell them apart.
I wrote.
Yeah. Jinx comes up to Ben again to do Glory's dirty work. Not really because Glory can't do it herself, really. Comes up to Ben and says, hey, we heard you were trying to
court Buffy.
Court the Slayer. And he's like, you should really use that relationship as leverage to, help Glory. And he's like, yeah, there is no relationship, and I would never do that. Like, I'm not doing that. Maybe you can, like, and he's, Jinx is like, maybe you could get more information about the key, and then you could tell Glory. And time is running out. We're getting closer, and we're no closer to getting the key.
Yeah.
And Ben says, I would never do that to an innocent. And he kind of trails off, and he's like, oh.
Yeah, he should not have said that.
He implies that it's a person, which Jinx catches right on to.
Picks up on it.
He's like, oh, I didn't hear anything. Oh, okay, goodbye. Like, he's like trying to get out of there. So he can run off and tell Glory. And he's like, yeah, I can't let you go now. Because you think that it's a human, and I'm going to have to, like, kill you. So he stabs Jinx.
Yeah, that was harsh.
You can't let him get back to Glory with that information.
Yeah.
So the next morning at Willow's, Willow and Tara are getting ready to go to breakfast and class, and they're kind of like, oh, what are we going to do with you? What are we going to do with you, Dawn? So Dawn says she's just going to sleep some more. They're like, okay, I'll stay. And then Giles is going to pick her up. Like, you stay, and then maybe I'll stop over at my lunch and, like, see if you want to hang out some more. And she's still mad at them.
Yep.
It's icy.
She's being very petulant.
It's icy. So they leave, but before they do, Willow kind of does a little magic and, like, has one of their witchcraft books. It's the history of witchcraft, kind of like
pop out
of the bookshelf, so it will be visible.
Obvious, yeah. See, here's what I'm talking about. This is the kind of stuff I didn't like in this episode.
Yeah, that was dumb.
She should know better.
Very dumb. She does try to, like, justify it later, but we'll get to that. So, Dawn's, like, gets up and, like, sees the book sticking out because it's meant to, like, grab her attention. And we see it's the history of witchcraft, and she kind of goes through it, and she finds the spell or the chapter on resurrection.
Resurrection, yeah.
Yeah. So at the magic box, so obviously it's later. Giles has picked Dawn up and brought her to the magic box. She's helping. She's dusting. She's just trying to be useful. And Giles is like, okay, yeah, we can, have you do stuff if it's, if you feel like you want to. And Anya's very threatened.
She's like, sure, let the tiny human touch the cash and things.
Yeah.
That's fine.
She's like, you have a hand. A hired hand. Like, it's me. Like, we don't need, like, child labor. That's child labor, Giles.
It's illegal.
Yeah, it's illegal. But then, he looks at her, she's like, I'm glad you find my job distracting. I am not threatened. Proceed. So, yeah, and then, Dawn very slyly says, is there any, like, where's the dangerous stuff? Just so I know, like, where to avoid it. And Giles falls right for it and says, oh, yeah, up there in, like, the balcony. That's where we put, like, more dangerous stuff. So if anybody's asking about it, get me.
I feel like should have picked up on that, but, you know.
I don't know.
Why would she even ask that?
Well, she says, like, just so I don't, like, get into anything that's dangerous.
Uh-huh.
And so they all go off doing their own thing. And Dawn sneaks up there with her book bag. And she's done her research in Willow's book, so she knows what she's looking for. So she takes, like, a vial and a book, and she, like, climbs back down and, like, just in time before Giles comes back out. So she's got these, like, dangerous items for her spell. So at the graveyard, Dawn is, like, right at it. She's at her mom's grave, and she's starting to do the spell. And Spike catches her. Yeah. And he says, you know, like, I hope you're just down here for dirt, because you don't want to be you're in zombie territory, and, like, that is, you do not want to do that.
You don't want to do that. Nope.
Yeah. And he's like, are you going to tell, like, please don't tell Buffy, like, I have to get her back. And he's like, no, I'm not going to tell. I'm going to help you. So he's
also, why?
Well, he says why later.
Okay, but
we'll get to it. And this is an interesting little scene. So Giles is at his house, and he's listening to that song that him and Joyce listened to during band candy. So he's just kind of, like, thinking about Joyce.
Oh, I was wondering what that was.
Yeah.
Because I wrote down listening to music while he drinks, and I'm like,
it's the same song. You know when they were, like, laying on the floor and, like, smoking and stuff? This is the same song.
So he misses her, too. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It feels, definitely feels for her, for sure.
Yeah, okay.
So on Maple Court, Spike and Dawn are going to an expert on resurrection that Spike has, like, heard about. So they're going to go to this guy.
She accuses him of helping because he's obsessed with Buffy.
Yeah, he's like, I know you're, like, stalking my sister. Mm-hmm. And he's like, Buffy is never going to find out about this. You understand? Like, you could never tell her that I did this. And Dawn's like, okay, well, then why? Why are you doing this if it's not for props? And he's like, and he says, like, I just don't like seeing the Summers girls taken on the chin so badly. He just doesn't like to see them hurting. So he's going to try to, like, fix it. But he doesn't want Buffy to know.
No, but he also knows that this would not end well.
For him, like, there's a chance it could. So he wants to try.
Okay.
It's not wise. Just like Willow's well-intentioned bad decisions. Both of them, I think. So, yeah, never tell Buffy he doesn't like to see, like, the Summers girls hurting. Yeah. So at Glory's, Jinx isn't back, but then it gets dragged in by some other minions.
So he's injured. He's not dead.
Yeah, so I guess Ben left him for dead, and then he's not dead. He made it back to Glory's. Yeah. And he is able to say that Ben did it, but the key is a person. Which is a huge clue, because she's like we said, we didn't know if it was a bicycle pump or a lamp. Like, we didn't know, like, literally anything.
It could be literally anything. Yeah, exactly. Anything.
So now we've narrowed it down to, like, people. Yeah. So she's very happy about this. And she's going to have Jinx be, like, fixed up. Like, they're going to save him. So I put at this guy's place, the expert place. I know his name.
Question mark.
I know his name, but...
Okay.
Guy's place. So he's kind of like a weird grandpa.
Yeah.
They come in, he's in a weird, robe.
Like a hippie grandpa, maybe, though?
Maybe.
Like, he looks like he might smoke weed, or I don't know. Yeah,
he thinks he's seen, like, Spike somewhere before. He's like, but different hair and you're a vampire. But he still thinks he's, like, the same person. It's just, he's a weird dude. But he is saying, okay, we're here for, like, a spell for resurrection. And, like, when Spike says, this one's mom kicked it a few days ago.
Yeah.
Spike.
Nice.
Yeah, like, no. That's not the way to put it.
And the guys at first is like, oh, you guys don't want to mess with that. But then immediately is like, okay.
Well, he's like, do you have any experience with this? And they're like, no. He's like, okay, like, this is risky. And so he goes to, like, his, shelves and everything. And he's humming Peter the Wolf, or Peter and the Wolf. That's what he's humming, the song. Okay. And Dawn sees that he says a tail. That he has a tail, like, stick out of his, like,
wagging.
Robe. Yeah, so she's like, oh, shit, this isn't just, like, a regular human. So she says, like, Dawn says, like, there were some things in the spell that she didn't understand. So he kind of can, like, look at it and understand what she didn't have. So the main ingredient that she was missing was Agora demon, the egg from an Agora demon.
Right.
So you have to steal it. You can't buy it. You have to steal it from the nest, and thankfully they're local because they like the Hellmouth. And then you have to use that egg with the spell. You have to have a photo of Joyce and put it in, like, in a sacred circle. And she has to say this incantation that he writes down for her 3 times. And then he said it won't happen immediately. She won't just poof in front of you, but it will, she'll come to you.
But he warns she may not come back exactly as she was. Yeah. Sometimes things are off.
Yeah.
We keep getting this warning, people.
Yeah. And he says if anything goes wrong and you destroy the photo, that's how to, like, break the spell. So, yes, Spike is like, okay, we're going to go and we're going to get this egg. So in the sewer, he's like, okay, you're not going to go, Dawn. I'm going to go by myself. And she's like, no, you're not. I'm going. Like, I'm going to steal the egg while you distract it. And he's like, oh, this is a bitty Buffy. I thought that was funny. So Spike has like an axe or something, and he's distracting this monster who's like at 3 heads.
Yeah. Supposed to be like, what is that?
Oh yeah,
mythical creature.
Yeah,
in Hades.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 3-headed
like guards the door.
Cerebus? Is it Cerebus?
I don't know. I don't know.
Say it's Cerebus. Anyway, yeah. So
let us know in the comments who we're talking about.
Yeah. Where's our Greek mythology, folks?
Yeah. So while Spike distracts the monster, Dawn takes one of the eggs and they go to run and she freaking drops it and breaks it.
Yep.
So then they have to go back, but now Spike has lost his weapon. It's like embedded in the monster. But they go back again and Spike's like, hey, like doing whatever to get his attention. And the thing bites him in the side.
Yeah.
It's like gnawing on him.
Yeah.
Dawn's able to get another egg.
I mean, they're stealing its babies.
Yeah, it's bad, obviously. And they're just able to get out of there. But Spike's all like messed up. He's hurting there. So at Buffy's in her mom's room, I think. Yeah, I think it's in her mom's room. Dawn is doing the spell and she calls on Osiris. So we'll hear this again. This is something that will be called on again, Osiris. So she starts doing the spell. So at Tara and Willow's, they come back or they're back in the evening or whatever. And Willow is starting a journal because they're all like reflecting on like death in their own ways. Like Anya is and Willow. And so she's starting a journal just to like write down like her daily life because then you just like forget it, you know? Yeah. So she wants to like be more mindful of things going on day to day. Tara notices the missing book.
Of course she does.
Witchcraft. And she's like, oh no, like what did she take? And Willow doesn't come out and say exactly that
but she doesn't think anything
for him.
Bad is going to happen.
She's like, I thought it would just answer maybe it would just answer some of her questions. And she's like, maybe, but woo. And Tara says maybe, but it like references specific potions and spells for resurrection. Yeah. So like that's not good. Like this is really bad. And then Willow's like, shit. Yeah, maybe that wasn't the best idea. So we need to call Buffy right away because we don't know what Dawn's up to. So at Buffy's, Buffy answers the phone and we know like they quickly tell her like what's going on. And she goes upstairs and Dawn's already finished the spell.
Yep, she catches the end of it.
And Buffy says, this is wrong. Mom will be wrong. And we can't let this kind of thing happen to Mom. We have to like leave her be.
Yeah.
And then we see like what we assume is Joyce, like feet walking in the graveyard.
Yeah.
And they come downstairs. Buffy takes the picture of Joyce and they go downstairs. And Dawn's talking about how she's alone. She only had her mom. Like you have people in your life. I have no one. And
she even accuses Buffy of not even being able to look at her.
Yeah. And Buffy's like, of course you have me. And she's like, no, you can't look at me. You don't even want me here.
It's like you don't even care.
Like,
you don't even cry.
Yeah, and it's just like you're so like just busy cleaning up Mom's mess. And so Buffy slaps her.
Like it's a chore.
Yeah, slaps her for saying that.
Yep.
And Buffy says that she's been so busy, she's had to keep busy, she's had to be doing other things because when she stops, then Mom's really gone. That's when she really like it sits with her and it's like reality, and she does not want to do that. And she's like, I have to take care of everything now. And Dawn says, no one's asking you to be Mom.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, who's gonna? This is a great part. This is a great response to Buffy's like, well, if I'm not, who's gonna be? Like, exactly. I'm in charge now. Who's gonna take care of us if it's not me? Like, I'm scared. Who's gonna take care of us? And you also like, I don't know if you saw why they were having this argument that like the lady, like Joyce, is walking across the porch.
Yeah, I saw the shadow.
Yeah, it was so creepy.
It was very. I know, it made me think of a horror movie, and I was like, this is not gonna. It
was pretty creepy. Yeah. And Buffy's scared, and they just start crying. And then there's a knock at the door.
Yep.
And immediately Buffy's... It's so emotional for Buffy. So she's like... She loses all the what am I going to say?
Anything, like, I mean, she realizes that, or like all the stuff she thinks is wrong about it.
Yeah, like she just misses her mom so bad in that moment that she's happy that her mom's on the other side of the wall.
Even if she's going to be some creepy ass zombie.
Yeah, she forgets all of the logic and like all of the the rightness about it. In that moment, she just wants her mom, and her mom is on the other side of the door. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so they're doing a switch here, and Dawn's starting to understand what Buffy's been going through, and that this is not the right thing to do. So Buffy runs to the front door to open it, and just as she opens it, Dawn rips a picture. Yep. So when Buffy opens the door, there's nobody there.
Which is good.
Joyce is back in her grave. Yeah, Joyce is back in her grave. And then Buffy and Dawn just like fall on the ground crying. And Dawn is comforting Buffy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Buffy is just sobbing. Oh, it's so sad. Yeah. This is a great, this whole scene I thought was great.
The scene was very good, yes.
Yeah. And we end on another sad moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, but they're now starting to grieve together instead of misunderstanding each other, grieving separately. So we're getting there. They're moving towards something there. Okay. Something. Yeah, and that's it. Hopefully we won't have sad endings forever now, but
forever.
All right. So my favorite quote, which is when Tara says, "Witches cannot be allowed to alter the fabric of life for selfish reasons," which you brought up already. You said that line already. I liked that. Tara was so clear and commanding, and these last 2 episodes she has she's been
I really enjoyed her character.
She's been great. Yeah, she's been great in these last 2 episodes. And then my favorite scene was Buffy and Dawn in the living room with Joyce walking up and Buffy saying, who's going to take care of us? I'm scared and all that. I love that. Sam Rochelle did such a good job with that.
Yeah. My favorite quote, and I don't remember exactly what, I don't remember exactly. It was outside of the hospital when Ben was fighting with Jinx. Mm-hmm. And at one point he says, "May the best me win." And I was like, interesting. So he does realize that they switch or something.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. And I understand why it's confusing because he does refer to her as a sister. But they share the same body. They're not siblings. Yeah. Exactly. So he's like, because Jinx says, you're just fighting yourself when you're fighting Glory. And he's like, yeah, okay, well, the best me win.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Mm-hmm. And then my favorite scene was the same one at the end. Yeah, when Buffy and Dawn finally, I'll say again, because we've had this in other episodes too, where they have these stupid little squabbly episodes. And at the end, they're like, oh, okay, we're finally on the right page again until the next episode anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good scene.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no competition in this episode, I think, for a good the best scene. So my star grading, I gave it a 4.5. And I maybe would bump that up if I watched it again. But okay, so I think the whole Joyce coming back from air quotes, coming back from the dead, and how they handled that whole thing, I think that was really well done. How they're just showing her feet. Yeah, the shadow going across the door, the knocking,
not her face or anything.
No, and it was really creepy. I really liked it. I thought it was really well done. Yeah, it didn't make her grotesque, but she was still creepy. It was a creepy idea.
Yeah.
So I really liked how they did that part of it. Spike bringing the flowers and this is him not wanting credit for anything he's trying to do, whether it's led or not. He's, with Dawn and stuff, trying not to, in his head, he's doing everything for the right reason, even if it is misdirected with the helping with bring the zombie back. Yeah. But he is doing it out of feelings, not out of some kind of alternative motive.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, but Willow unresponsible. I mean, Spike was too, but Willow really should know better. Willow is I think she's kind of irresponsible with magic in general. Tara is much more respect for the craft of it. I
agree completely with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Willow needs to grow up with the magic stuff, in my opinion. She was not good. And she didn't even own up to it when she was kind of caught, kind of.
Yeah.
When it was all obvious that she took the book. She didn't even say, hey, I did this and I shouldn't have. She just was like, oh, that's weird. The expert guy was interesting. He was like kind of a cool character. I liked his like the way that it was acted, and his eyes also like turned black. So he's got some like demon-y stuff going on. The tail. He's interesting. Yeah. He's kind of just like a grandpa at the same time too. Yeah, and I said the Tara moments. Like we've already talked about Tara, like how she's like really shown up in the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And when, like I said, when she's in her element and she knows what she's talking about, she is confident about it. When she's not, that's when you can tell that she's not confident about it and she's not strong of it, So yeah, great episode for Tara.
Yep.
Yeah, so 4.5.
Okay. I gave it a 4. Yeah. I mean, there were some really good things about this episode. Yeah, I like watching Tara's character development over this. I liked the scene at the end with Buffy and Dawn, but also it slightly annoyed me just because like I feel like we keep doing this where they keep getting in these little squabbles and they keep like oh, everything's better now, but then they just keep going back to squabbling. So I'm kind of over that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Willow really got on my nerves this episode. I was just like, what are you doing, chick? Mm-hmm. What are you doing? The stuff with Spike was good. I like you said, yeah, maybe he had good intentions at least, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he helped Dawn. I mean, if he hadn't helped Dawn, I don't know, if she would have just done it on her own, maybe it could have went a lot worse. So I guess
just like the time that he went with her to the magic box because she's like, I'm going, and he said like she was gonna go anyway. Yeah, like exactly. I make sure she doesn't get herself killed. So yeah, kind of like that too.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and then like you said, what do you call her in the one scene? Biddy Buffy. So yeah, and then just like we get the little teasers with Glory still. I'm still waiting. We're getting really close to the end of the season now, so I'm waiting. Like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so yeah, this episode it had its moments. I did like the stuff with Joyce too. Like I thought that was interesting, and I liked how at the end Dawn did realize, oh shit, I should not have done this, and fixed it. So that was
the very last second.
Yeah, the last second.
Because it's already traumatic enough, like doing the spell and everything, but like opening the door and seeing your mom there, and then what happens when they rip it up, or the very last second she like came to the right conclusion.
Yeah.
But anything else?
No, I think that's everything.
Okay. All right, and so that's Forever. That last scene, oh my gosh, like and like the sobbing and like they were just
it was a lot.
Like it's first time first time Buffy really like lets it out.
Yeah,
like is in that moment. Okay, the next episode, Intervention.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, great. It's a good question.
I tried to think of a good question, but the episode is just wild. Okay, Glory thinks she has an idea of who the key is. Who does she think it is?
Okay, well, it's not going to be Dawn. Tara?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's go with Tara.
Okay. Tara it is.
Yeah.
So that wraps up season 5, episode 17, Forever. You can find us on all major podcast apps and YouTube and Instagram at One Girl and All the World Pod. You can also email us at onegirlpod@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back next week with season 5, episode 18, Intervention. See you real soon. Bye.
Bye.